seem like they're pretty tidy in getting people up the field quickly to counterattack, and I thought that I thought Mane and Maddox in particular, like both of those guys are young and they seem like they're starting to be able to play together pretty well. I think that's going to do, and they're both so fast. I think that bodes really well for Vancouver.
Well, that was on at the same time as Portland RSL, I think, and I decided to watch Portland RSL, and I decided incorrectly.
Portland RSL was a less exciting game, but that was, I mean, they were both really good games. It's not true that they were on exactly at the same time, because LA Vancouver was
they were offset, right?
Yeah, they were offset.
Yeah, they were offset
so no, it was almost a whole hour, because I did switch out of
it's like first
Vancouver
half and
then come back
type
and watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was actually really I know that I'm supposed to dislike Vancouver, but I have never been able to do it. Nor have I ever had any interactions with Vancouver fans in any way that were anything other than just like sweet, nice, happy Canadians come down to
some very tender moments with Vancouver.
They really, really are.
I will seriously vouch for that myself. Absolutely. We can't hate them. Every time we go up there, it's like, hey, thanks for coming up. We know it's a long trip and you've got to go through the border. Like, we're glad that you're up here for a sport that the rest of our countrymen don't care about. And, like, they're so ridiculously nice.
Yeah.
So they're sort of like the state to you guys as Duke and Carolina, kind of, right?
I don't even get that analogy.
That's going to fall flat. That's going to fall flat. I'm going to tell you right now.
Fall flat. How about this one? Look. Rebel Alliance, the Empire, and the...
And we lost.
Oh, no.
No!
You're going to have to make that analogy again, Josh.
Get it.
Oh. Who's that? Is that on my end that I'm going?
It was, but we got you now, so give us the analogy again.
What the hell? Oh, I think we've got the Rebel Alliance and the Empire, and then Vancouver is the Ewoks. So, nobody dislikes the Ewoks. Everybody loves the Ewoks. They're like far too cute.
You know what?
Well, the evil Empire, they tried to kill the Ewoks, didn't they?
Well, I mean...
Especially after they helped blow up...
only because they were in the way, not out of hate.
Yeah. It wasn't...
And I'm kind of okay with Portland being the Rebel Alliance, because I'm sure you guys saw the Game of Thrones thing today. They were labeled as the ragtag men running around in the woods with no purpose or grouping.
Oh, I was so happy to be House Targaryen. I was going into that thinking, they're gonna put us as something shitty. They're just gonna hate on DC and like give us, I don't know. I don't know who's shitty in Game of Thrones. Maybe the Greyjoys. They're gonna give us Greyjoy. They gave us Targaryen. It made me happy. It's like, you guys remember history. Yay.
Yeah, and we were the Martells, which I felt was pretty appropriate. Like, it was good arguments. Although it was weird that they chose the hot queen for Siggy as opposed to the old man that also is in that same family. It was kind of a strange choice, but...
Can we go back to the part where Ian said he clicked on that link wanting to be sad? Is that what he's been degraded to at this point, Ian?
What did I say? I wanted to be sad? No, I didn't want to be sad. I just thought they were going to put us down.
The bones.
You were looking forward to it? You were looking forward to being sad?
No, I don't look forward to sadness. I do the opposite of looking forward to sadness.
That's it.
So, Josh, we're still talking about Portland here, and I think you make a fair argument that it wasn't that bad of a game. It was certainly no 0-0 draw in San Jose. So tell us why Raimondo is the best keeper in the league and why Rudy is worthless.
Wow. Well, Raimondo made 3. Yeah, that's a tricky one. I did say that he's pulling that out of the show notes where I said that Arudi is worthless. So, and I am also not alone.
Josh, tell us what you're doing next weekend. Why you're so sad?
Yeah. No, it was Raimondo made 3. He made 4 good saves and 3 that were like
3 goal-saving
spectacular.
Goal-saving, just spectacular, like point-blank instinct. The guy's so short. He's so fast. He's just so explosive off his legs. It's frustrating, but it's impressive to watch nonetheless. The first save from Nagby was really good. I mean, it was like just a snap reaction save. The one from Urruti where Urruti. So here's the thing about Urruti is that he can't hold the ball up. He's not a threat in the air. He doesn't fit anything about the way Portland plays. But if you put a long ball out for him to run onto, he's actually reasonably threatening. And Portland started to do that a little bit as their legs started to go at altitude. And so he got up to run onto a couple balls. And he blasted 2 good shots at Raimondo, one of which was a script, one of which was the best shot I have seen him take. And Raimondo, got up. He got 2 hands to it. It was a shot into the far corner, and Raimondo still managed to get 2 hands to it. It was just spectacular.
Wait. That was the best shot, not the goal against Seattle. That curling, beautiful ball from 30 yards out.
Well, yeah,
that was a spectacular shot.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was at the top of the box, though. That was like a typical Eddie Johnson finish, I feel like, Urruti's goal against Seattle.
I thought he was pretty far out. But I might be mixing Chara's 2 super far out goals where nobody
Chara's goals were freaking cool.
Yeah. But the thing was, Urruti, he blasted a couple shots at Raimondo that were great shots.
Didn't one go off the woodwork?
One went off the woodwork. Raimondo blocked 2, and then he had one where it was Valeri and Urruti coming into the box. The center back, whoever it was, I think it was Schuler, was of 2 minds. So he's like, who do I go with? And he wound up getting neither of them. Right. Raimondo thinks Valeri is going to shoot. Urruti is behind Schuler, looking at the open net. Valeri chips the ball over to him. Urruti swings and misses. And you're just like, that's it. That's the season right there. Like, great lead up. And this guy just totally flubs it.
Can I say that I feel like we dodged a bullet with Urruti?
You kind of did. I remember when Toronto gave him up, and I was like, why would Toronto give him up? Oh,
right?
It's Toronto. They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Well, with Ryan Johnson last year, you had a little bit of a different story grabbing Ryan Johnson from us in the 2013 season, right? He was pretty decent.
He wound up being much better for us than he was. But that game, the Portland RSL game, Portland lost, and that was obviously, kind of sad, but it was the best game that they played this year. They looked defensively more coherent with the exception of the one little lapse that Salt Lake scored on, but they moved the ball around, and they looked like last year's team. So, and frankly, I was expecting they were going to go and get stuffed 4-1. So at the end of it, everybody was like, oh, I'm so mad, they gave up another goal late. It's like, look, it's the hardest place to play in the league, by far. It's a good.
You circled this game like 6 weeks ago and said we're going to get blown out in that game.
Yeah. So.
And I feel like.
Go ahead.
Now that I totally forgot what I was gonna say. I do feel like you guys were supposed to win. Like you guys could have won 5-1, and it weren't for Raimondo's 3 amazing saves and Urruti being terrible for 2. Yeah. So I feel like what you're saying about Urruti is he'd be really good in a game where you guys are down 1-0 coming on in the 80th minute and not starting.
Which is, the very little that we saw him last year, what he did. He scored against LA, and it was like this great little flick, and he scored another game, I can't remember. But he's someone who's fast, and he rattles defenders because he charges at them. But he doesn't fit the way Portland wants to play, especially in the first half or the first 2/3 of the game.
Just too direct.
He's too direct, and he's too raw, and he's relying too much on his athleticism. And also, he loses possession, which is another reason why Portland's been giving up so many late goals. If you want to press, but you can't hold the ball, you're going to run out of gas because you have to press all the time. You've got to have people who can hold the ball, especially at the top. Ryan Johnson was no, world beater, but he could hold the ball at the top, and that gives everybody else time to get into place and let them do the stuff they were doing last year. Right now, we don't really have anybody who can hold the ball, so...
and everything you just said is, I think, why you're fortunate that Zach Awani is not healthy right now, because he is going to have all of the same faults as Urruti. Like, he completely relies on his athleticism and plays way too direct and gets dispossessed all the time. He might have better crosses, but I am still shocked that Porter thought that it would work in the current system. I feel like you're going to have to completely retrain him for him to be a valuable piece.
Yeah.
Or just be a sub.
I think that's it. I think he and Urruti are destined to be subs for the time that they're on the team. And I think that, it's sad because the things that we need are still the same things that we needed over the break, which was we really need somebody who can be a winger but still hold on to the ball respectively, and we really need to hold up number 9. Nagby doesn't play wide. He doesn't.
Should he?
I don't. Maybe he should, but he doesn't.
He's done okay. I mean, in his spots. Like obviously that's not where he starts out, but he does okay going down the flanks. You know, a couple times when Portland's on the counterattack.
But he always drifts it. The big problem is like you look at the 3 and the 4-2-3-1 that Portland has, and you're like, Valeri, Fernandez, Nagby. 3 very, very good players. Why don't they interplay well? Because they all stand in the same goddamn spot. They all are standing right next to each other when the ball's coming into them, and it's infuriating, and it lets teams just mass their defensive midfielders right in front of the 3 of them. They're all standing right next to each other. They all drift in. We really don't have anybody who's going to go wide at all to stretch out a defense, and it lets fullbacks bomb forward without any consequence because everybody's standing right in the center of the pitch. It's or right in the middle of the field, not in the center of the pitch, but like right outside the 18-yard box. It's a little exasperating to watch. I think if we could get somebody who can go wide, Rodney Wallace will come back, and maybe please God, pick up a big target forward.
Do you guys really need one though? I mean,
yes.
Yeah,
yes, we really do. Trust me.
Portland doesn't seem like one of those teams that relies so much on their forwards for
I don't
scoring.
mean no, not to score, to hold the ball.
Just to hold,
like a target hold up forward. That's what Ryan Johnson did really well. He was not a great shooter. He still got a bunch of goals because he got garbage that everybody else was, either little flicks on from other people or capitalizing on mistakes from defenders. But Portland really needs somebody to hold the ball at the top, and they don't have that. And until they get that, it's going to be pretty bleak.
You know who's doing a good job of that right now?
Who?
Eddie Johnson.
Oh,
I was just going to say that. I was going to say that, Josh. If you've got an open DP spot, Eddie Johnson, that's his best tool right now.
But he's not. I mean, he's not a great hold-up forward. He doesn't hold on to the ball. He's a great target forward. But he's like an up in the air.
He certainly can be. Yeah, he was for us as well. He did a lot, especially when Freddie Montero was there. He did a fantastic job when he had that creative playmaker that he could hold the ball up for and then get the ball over to them. I mean, it was
really okay because I always saw the 2 of them. And granted, I didn't watch a ton of the Sounders, but I always saw the 2 of them seeming to kind of get in each other's way a little bit and never quite figure out how to link up. I was just watching bad games.
Yeah, and it also depends on service. I think a team like Portland who could get the ball to Eddie Johnson in a good spot and he could then hold it up and let your guys move forward. But I don't know. I think DC's not going to let him go.
And I don't think Portland would want him.
Yeah.
Frankly. But
that'd be amusing. That would be so amusing. I just want to.
That would be amusing. I'm sure the reaction would be very puzzled.
That'd be good. I would enjoy.
I really don't think people would know what to do.
I mean, I want him, but like.
You should keep him because Portland actually has 2 designated player spots, so they're just sitting open.
Well, speaking of designated players, let's talk Toronto and their lack of designated players.
Yeah, how about that? I'm just going to start off saying that without Bradley, that game would have been at least like 4-0 in my mind, if not way more than that. And same thing without Cesar, without him in net, if we still had anybody else for what we did last year. Like for Bendik, for example, I don't think he would have been able to hold off the onslaught. The fact that Toronto got 1-0 up in the first 20 minutes or so was pretty crazy. I was not expecting that. And then, 1-0 turns into 1-1, and then that turns into 2-1, and Dallas wins the game. Do
you think things go different if Defoe's in there?
100%. I mean, without Defoe, Bradley doesn't really have too many options to link up with in front of him, right? That's the big problem. Bradley can't do everything on his own, and it seemed on Saturday that he was doing a lot on his own. And he was basically, just telling people what to do. It was absolutely the organization, especially in the second half, started to show that it was falling apart very, very quickly. And as for that red card, A lot of people are going to be angry. I know a lot of TFC supporters I spoke with this week are really unhappy about that red card, but that's just how MLS works at the end of the day, right? You mean, like, everybody's going to go through one or two of these red cards a season where it's kind of almost unjustified, or you feel like the ref's being a little harder, but that's just part of playing at MLS, in my opinion. So, I mean, I'd like to see better officiating, of course. I'm down for it, but at the same time, if it's not happening on a consistent basis against your team, I mean, that's, like I said, it's just part of dealing with the refs that we have, right? So we want the full back. The full back would be nice. D-Rose got to come in as a substitute after 70 minutes, 60 minutes of play. He's not able to play a full 90-minute game at his age.
He's supposed to be back.
Well, right now I believe he has a hamstring injury, if I'm not mistaken, and it's about 2 to 3 weeks until Defoe comes back, and then you get D-Rose coming. So sorry, let me redo that. I believe Defoe has a hamstring injury, and he's going to be replaced by D-Rose other way around when he comes back. Sorry, I'm really tired today, boys. If you have not noticed, I cannot make a full sentence.
And Dennis, forgive me for being ignorant to non-U.S. World Cup teams, but is Defoe going to the World Cup?
You know what? I haven't seen any announcement, but it's hard to say with his injury. If he didn't get injured, I would have said 100% he's probably going to go and play for England. But now with this injury, it really depends how he performs when he comes back onto the field. I think we'll see an appearance from him before the World Cup break starts. But I think the England national team is going to be looking at how he's playing in these TFC games over the next 2-3 weeks, or if he's even playing at all, and make a judgment based on that.
Well, I know England's got...
I remember reading in the preseason that they weren't expecting him to be a part of the team, so I think especially with the injury now, it might have kind of...
Right, and that had changed after the season had started because of his awesome first 3 goals in 2 games. So, and
also there's an injury in the front line for England that's more
not aware
serious than Defoe's.
So, I mean, it's up in the air at this point. Is he gonna go? I can't make a prediction, honestly. Either way, we'll see what happens in the long run, the next couple of weeks with the games that are going on. But like I said, I'm just happy, and the 2-1 could have been a lot worse. They played okay for the first 30 to 40 minutes, and then after in the second half, it just fell apart. The back 4 weren't communicating very well, and it just seemed like Cesar were just making great saves over and over and over again.
And of course, you were going up against Dallas also. I think we got
right, and I do definitely keep that in mind. It's just that when so much money has been spent on your team and there's such a great expectation, we're hoping that with Bradley and without Defoe, maybe a tie, maybe a 0-1 loss. But it's kind of heartbreaking when you get a red card and it's 2-1, and so I can understand sentiment from some people. I'm pretty happy with the result, considering all things considered, without Defoe, and But like I said, it's just the last 20, 30 minutes have always been an issue for TFC, especially last year, and that's what makes me worried at the end of the day.
Not to mention, Dallas is one of those teams that can really take advantage of being a man up. I mean, when Houston went down a man a couple weeks ago, Dallas went and scored 3 goals right away.
Yeah.
So, and that was in Houston. So, and people forget that Toronto, they did sign Defoe, and they signed Gilberto, and they signed Michael Bradley.